Yes, Barry White, Engineman, second class. Well, I knew when I finished high school I wasn't college material. So I said, and my mother had raised 3 boys for years and years because my mother and father separated. And she had a tough time raising 3 boys. So I decided I would just join the military. And I've always kind of favored the Navy. And I just wasn't a ground pounder per se, wanted to be in the Army, so I decided to join the Navy. And the old saying is to see the world. So that's why I ended up joining the Navy. That was probably the best choice I made in my life. Because the Navy in 4 years did more good for me than a college degree would have. That's the way I feel, and that's the way I always felt. If you get in there and do what you're supposed to do. Now, some people go in and they get in trouble. Well, I went in and did what I was supposed to do. I worked on advancing and keeping my nose clean and doing what I should do. Well, when I first joined, I said, well, I don't want to go to the Great Lakes because I'm joining in September and it gets cold up there for boot camp. So they sent me to San Diego. You get up at a certain time, you eat at a certain time, you go to the classes, you do what you're supposed to do, and really that's kind of what I had expected. And I'm a disciplined person to start with, so it didn't bother me at all. If I told you all of my stories, I didn't smoke. I used to buy 2 packs of cigarettes when I could for a nickel. I mean, we bought them for a dime, and then I'd sell them to my buddies that ran out for a nickel a piece. So I'd make 90 cents on every pack of cigarettes. So that's what I did when I was in. That was the way I did. I had a lot of fun with that. Met a lot of good people, had a lot of fun. Well, the Navy, it's not so much physical, it's more class. You go to classes every day, things. You don't do it, it's not a lot of, you do a few exercises, but it's not a lot of exercising and stuff. You do your marching, but you don't have to go out and run and work in the fields and do all this. It's more class stuff to learn shipboard life, because that's what it's more for. Thing is you're going to get up at 6 o'clock, you're going to eat breakfast at this time, you're going to have a lunch break. So you got to wash your own clothes in the Navy. Hang them up with ties, you have to tie them up, and everything you have to do on your own. You don't have washing machines and all that. And at night time you get a few extra hours, but then lights out at 10 o'clock and you get back up the next morning. So it was kind of not what I expected, but once I saw it, I wasn't disappointed. Well, whenever I took the test, they told me that was my aptitude. So because you take a test as to some of the things you do, and they said, you know, it looks like you ought to be an engineman. I've just always been mechanically inclined also, so it's always worked out. Well, I get out of San Diego in December, and they sent me to Engineman A school. Now guess where that was? In the Great Lakes. So I had to go up there and fight that winter for three or 4 months. And then they sent me aboard the Okanagan, which is APA troop transport. But I enjoyed it. It helped me a lot more than anything else.